Hello and welcome to the Podquest of Bread. Tonight we are going to talk about property. And I feel like we have to talk about property because it seems like we are dealing with this situation where a certain political party is supporting a certain domestic terrorist because domestic terrorist was out protecting people's property that wasn't his. And, well, something just doesn't make any fucking sense about that to me. So, I want to start this video off by saying this. Driving 60 miles, or let me rephrase this, having your mom drive you 60 miles with a gun across state lines, a gun that you technically aren't supposed to have in your possession or wield in public, to defend someone else's private property is not defending property. Going that length of distance to go defend the property of people that you don't know, businesses that you don't have any connection to, is not defensive property. Let's call it what it is. That's going to start a fight. That's going out of your way to instigate a fight. And that's quite literally going there to hunt humans. That's as clear cut as this can get. But we got to talk about something else, because this certain party who's defending this certain domestic terrorist who killed two people over property seemingly forgets the intrinsic value of a person's life versus property. And that's what I really want to talk about here. See, that certain party would happen to be the Libertarian Party. And that certain domestic terrorist would happen to be Kyle Rittenhouse. Of course, the guy who went from Illinois to Wisconsin in order to stand in front of businesses, antagonize protesters, and eventually shoot and kill two of them. A guy who is now facing life in prison, plus some, because of his actions. And because he valued property above life. See, we have a problem in the United States. And this problem is spread across pretty much any political party out there that is the top three. The Libertarians, the Republicans, and the Democrats. This problem is synonymous between the three of them. That somehow property is valued higher than a human life. See, specifically libertarians, because I just feel like I have to harp on this. We all know that the duopoly's bad. Libertarians, for some reason, get really angry about the idea of property being destroyed or looted. They get really angry about the idea of rioting in the streets and tearing down, physically tearing down the system which oppresses people. But they don't get as angry about cops killing people in the streets. And this is a problem. See, humanity and a human life is far more valuable than property will ever be. I will go out on a limb to say this. Anybody that is actually compassionate and cares about human life would burn down an entire fucking city if it meant rebuilding that city to respect the life of someone who has been oppressed by the system that city creates. See, the only way to make positive change, the only way to make good change for everyone is to learn that property is just that. It's property. It's replaceable. Most of it's insured. Most of it has some sort of guarantee that you're going to get a monetary value if it is lost in some sort of act of God or riot or protest. Most property out there is protected by some sort of system that's going to get it back for you in a monetary way or not. But the thing that is not replaceable is that human life which is oppressed by the system. That human life that is shot dead in the streets by cops. That human life that takes 7 bullets in the back from a cop who is afraid for some reason. What's not replaceable is the human life that just a few nights ago was laid down in the streets by a young domestic terrorist wielding a gun. What's not replaceable is that human life which tried to protect others from an active shooter that was shot dead in the streets by a domestic terrorist, all because of property. See, what we've been seeing in the Libertarian Party, and for those who aren't in the Libertarian Party, I'll explain this. What we've been seeing is a large swath of the Libertarian right flocking to defend this domestic terrorist because he was there to protect property. We've seen a bunch of people running to protect this guy, to defend him, and to even set up bail funds and lawyer fee or GoFundMe's to support his lawyers and his criminal defense. Why? Because he was there protecting property. See, it pisses me off. I'm a little aggravated about this. There is absolutely no reason that we should be supporting property above the life of someone, the life of anyone. Those two guys that died, they died heroes. And I will say that proudly. They died heroes because the first one decided to act against someone wielding a gun completely irresponsibly. They died trying to protect others from being shot. They died doing what they were called to do. They may not have gone there knowing they were going to do this, but they went there knowing they were willing to protect others. He went there instigating a fight. He went there seeking to use his gun to defend property. And that's the problem with this country. That's the problem with this country. Profit motives are held exponentially higher than the value of a human life. The profit off of water, the profit off of food, the profit off of housing, the profit off of property is intrinsically held to be higher in value than that of a life. And how do we fix this? See, everybody on the right expects us to sit down, to be quiet, to not protest, to not loot, to not riot. But see, the one thing that repeats in my mind is a graffiti painting that I had seen that just rings true, that they have taken more from us than we could ever loot or destroy. Now, to go beyond that, let's talk about systemic change. Let's talk about fixing the system, okay? Anybody on the right, this is going to get real uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. If we seek to fix the system, if we seek to right the wrongs, if we seek to change everything, then starting with a blank slate is more than likely the best way to do it. We could put as many great progressive leftist politicians as we want into state senate, into the federal House, into the U.S. Senate. We could put as many great progressive leftists into local town councils. But the problem is they will always be shackled by the system. They will always be roadblocked and stopped by the very system which we are trying to fight. No matter how many great progressive, socialist, or communist-thinking leftists we put into power, they're always going to get quashed out by the system. The system is it's never going to be fixed as it sits. It's the problem with many liberals right now who are dying to vote for Biden, thinking he will be a welcome change. But the thing is that Joe Biden will operate under the very same principles and system that Donald Trump operates under. We will still have the flawed 13th Amendment. We will still have the flawed 14th Amendment. We will still have the flawed Constitution that every single politician in the United States from local to federal level has to operate under. They swear an oath to protect and defend it. That is a part of their duties. So seeking to change the system from within and seeking to work within the system is only a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. It is only a Band-Aid on something that requires major sutures. See, trying to fix the system from within and trying to work from within the system is literally like sticking gauze in a gaping shotgun wound. it's not going to do anything. There will still be racial inequality in this country. There will still be systemic racism. People of color will still be shot dead disproportionately in the streets. The system will continue to work for rich, white, land-owning people while ignoring everyone, from people of color to people in poverty, because that's how the system was designed. The system was designed to protect property. And we wonder why those who embrace the system and only want to make slight tweaks to it embrace property. Because that's what this system is 110% designed to do. So of course, those of us seeking radical change, those of us seeking to fix the actual problems, of course, we would seek to tear this system down fundamentally to its roots. Of course, those of us seeking to actually bring change would want to destroy the system as it sits, because only then can we build something that works for the people. Only then can we build something that actually improves the lives of people of color, of people that don't own land, of people that are starving in our streets and seeking help. Only when we tear the system down and we physically rebuild it do we create a system which works for us. And many people will try to tell me that this is un-American, that what I'm seeking to do is against this country's founding. Many people are going to tell me that this is against the Constitution. But within the Constitution, it gives us the right to tear down the government if we find that it no longer works for us. And listen, I got news for you. Look in the streets. Look in any populated city and its suburbs. Philadelphia, New York, Minneapolis, California, any city in California, Portland, Oregon, you name it. The streets are filled with people that are tired of the system and are tired of the system not working for them. So, of course, we are taking what the Constitution says. The Constitution says we can tear down the system and choose to implement a new system that works for us, or choose not to implement a system at all. That's our choice. And we are doing it. So when you tell us not to loot, when you tell us not to riot, when you tell us not to burn things down after anger has been built, it's not going to stop it. What will stop it, at least temporarily, again, it'll be like putting gauze in a shotgun wound, but what will temporarily stop it is listening to us. Listening to the demands of the people that put you into office, the people that give you hundreds of thousands of dollars in a salary per year, per diems out the ass, and allow you to become the interest of some big corporation. Maybe just take a moment and listen to us. What do we want? It's pretty simple. We don't want the system to condemn people of color worse than it does white people. We don't want the system to put people in jail for victimless crimes. We don't want the system to profit off of our labor. We want the profit of our labor. Listen to the people. We want water. We want food. And we want to know that no matter what happens, we will have a roof over our heads. We want these simple things. We want health care. So that way we know that we are good. If we fall and break a bone, we are guaranteed that we will be able to seek help. The demands are simple. They're very cut and dry. If we nixed 3/4 of the military budget, we could make these demands reality. But because you are bought out by corporate interests in the military-industrial complex, you choose to funnel the money there instead of putting it to things that will help us here. So, we take to the streets and we continue. September 1st, we'll general strike. We'll general strike as long as we have to. We'll shut the whole damn system down. In states where moratoriums on evictions are lifting, we will shut down the chance of people evicting people from their homes. We will squat. We will block the courts. We will do whatever we have to do because we're tired of it. We're tired of being told to sit down, to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We want change to come from those who actually promised us change. Live through your words and carry them out by actions. Anyway, stay beautiful, humans.